Okay, we got. I used Mouse Excel for 30 days. Oh boy.
Acceleration is the first thing that I turn off whenever I build a new PC, but
All
for
right.
over a month, I've been purposely playing with it switched on. I've come to realize that after thousands of hours of playing FPS games, there is no perfect sensitivity. High sense feels better for close range, low sense feels better for long range when you need more precision, and anything in between just kind of feels like a compromise. This is actually the same reason why many of the top 8
Oh, look at Optimum working on the advanced one. Oh my god, I hate this one, dude. This one sucks.
game trainer players in the world actually change their mouse sensitivity depending on the individual scenario that they're trying to get a new high score on. Slower sense for longer range targets.
Yeah, look at fucking 75 cm. Here before Rup snipes. Yeah, that's a lot of CMs, dude.
You need more precision, higher sense for when you need more speed. But doing this in game, depending if someone's in front of you or like 100 meters away, is kind of impossible. But what if there was a way to get the benefits of high sense and low sense all within the one sensitivity? Well, that is the basic concept of using mouse acceleration.
Damn, and is he playing on a glass pad? Jesus, that's a speedy pad. Not gonna lie, that's a speedy pad.
Now you've got a slow controlled sense when it comes to tracking and a fast target switching sense, all in the same sensitivity. It sounds really interesting, but also at the same time, kind of terrible. Now this is nothing new. I've actually known about Mouse Accel for a while now, but I've avoided it because, like everyone, I've just hated the idea of your sensitivity constantly changing while you're playing. To me, nothing—
Oh look, and he got the pulsar thing. Oh my god. Yo, Pulsar, they make some good ass fucking shit, dude. They do. They really do.
Sounds worse if you're trying to build up a consistent and confident aim. You know, if you're trying to go for a flick, for example, with Mouse Accel, you could move your mouse the same distance as you usually do.
Yeah, but bro, that what is this, like 20, 30 cm? There's no way you're hitting anything here, like with any consistency if you're flicking like that.
But if you move it just a little bit faster or a little bit slower, your cursor will end up in a completely different spot. That sounds impossible to aim with, but also, I've never actually tried it. And I've been playing with a couple friends recently who use Mouse Accel, and their aim is freakishly good. Like, it looks like they're hacking in some clips. So honestly, that's kind of what got me really interested in trying this in the first place. Could Mouse Accel actually be good? Well, first of all,
for me, my personal like take on it is like, it's like adding like an extra joint to your arm. It's like, you know, you got your fingers, that's 1, your wrist, that's 2, your elbow, that's 3, your shoulder, that's 4. Adding Mouse Accel is like adding another gear into the machine. Could it be good? I mean, maybe, but what would be more beneficial for you to add another variable or to try to become a little bit more consistent in your aim? I mean, that's just like my 2 cents.
The acceleration that you'll find in Windows, which is called Enhanced Pointer Precision, is actually cooked. I think it was designed for trackpads or something like that, because for aiming, it is really, really horrible.
What the hell?
What I've actually been using is called RawAccel. It's a separate program. It allows you to completely fine-tune the type of acceleration you want, the amount that you want, the amount of smoothness. Yeah, it can go pretty deep. These curves basically just show you how much your input is going to be multiplied and enhanced by the acceleration curve.
Linear, ooh, that screams Apex all day. Everybody loves 3-4 linear.
You can actually see it updating live on the chart, showing you, how much movement results in how much acceleration. Most people start off with the default linear settings, which looks like this, so that's where I decided to start as well. And honestly, it didn't feel too bad. I usually play Overwatch with an in-game sense of 3 at 1600 DPI, and to get the benefits of this Mouse Accel, I lowered that to 2.3. So effectively now it's like 2.3 at the low end for tracking, but closer to 3 for target switching and flicks. But yeah, first impressions, it didn't feel that dramatic. It actually felt surprisingly okay. I usually do see some jitters and inconsistencies when tracking slower targets at my usual sensitivity, but now they were mostly gone. At the same time, it did feel kind of sluggish compared to what I usually play on, so over the next few days I started bumping up the acceleration value even further. From the default 0.005 up to 0.01, then 0.02, eventually all the way up to 0.04, which was just too fast, especially at 1600 DPI, which just amplifies the curve even more. With acceleration values that high, that's really where the inconsistencies start to show up, at least for me. So after about a week of using RawAccel, I fine-tuned it to this: a linear curve with gain enabled, acceleration set to 0.02, and a cap of 1.4.
So like, I understand like the basic concept of like RawAccel, but it's like you move your mouse slow, you get a slow sense. You move your mouse fast, you get the fast sense. And I mean, that's pretty much it. But like trying to come up with like how do you get like a consistent velocity in your hand? I mean, that just makes no sense to me.
This actually felt pretty good.
And he's got his like custom mouse. So that thing is like what, like 10 grams or some shit?
Long range tracking felt more controlled, and the part that I thought would feel terrible, which were the flicks, ironically felt really good and very predictable, almost just like less work. Compared to my usual static sense, it felt more controlled at lower speeds, but faster at higher speeds. Surprisingly, it felt a lot less inconsistent than I thought it would. I even fired up some Kovacs to get an objective reference point. You know, was I trolling or being biased, or could this actually be good?
Ooh.
I don't play aim trainers too much these days. Sometimes it's like just in between matches if I'm sitting in queue, but I did end up breaking a couple of my own high scores.
Oh, not bad. What was that one? What was that? Was Smoothbot Voltaic easy? Oh shit, I'm about to snipe that.
Breaking a couple of my own high scores, which I...
Oh shit. Oh my god, 98.7 percentile. Oh my god, not too bad.
Thought I would honestly never beat. Everything I had thought previously about RawAccel was wrong, except for one part. At the start of the acceleration curve, you can feel your sensitivity changing, which means that any inconsistencies or jitters are just exaggerated even more. Now, I think
I think you have to be good in the first place to be able to even think about using RawAccel. Because I think he's playing on like the hardest version. Like period. He's playing on a glass pad, ultra light mouse. Yeah, he's got the sleeve on to reduce the friction even more, and he's using RawAccel. That's like, if you put that in like an average gamer's hand, their hand's gonna be like looking like they're goddamn shaky as fuck, dude.
It's worth just kind of backing up for a second here before we get too tunnel visioned on aim in competitive FPS games, because it's not the only thing that matters when it comes to ranking up and actually climbing to a new level. Especially what I'm doing here, being hyper focused on my aim in game and tweaking the acceleration curves constantly between matches. That is actually super counterproductive to overall improvement. The more time I think about this stuff during a match, the less time I'm actually thinking about things that are gonna win the game, like positioning, timing, what abilities or ultimates are gonna be in the next fight, and how to play best as a team. At the same time though, there's no denying that if you...
Yeah, but that's just if you want to be good at the game. Like, if you like aim train, like you don't really care about being good at the aim. You just want... you don't care about being good at the game. You just want to have the most kills, the most damage at the end. Like, let's be honest.
You can hit more shots, you will win more games. If you can win more 1v1s, if you can get more early picks at the start of a round, that will heavily swing the odds in your favor in pretty much any competitive FPS out there. Also, I've just always been impressed with people with really good game mechanics and pure aim. That's always been way more impressive to me than someone with just the outright highest rank. After a couple weeks...
Yeah, all those guys he just showed, amazing aim. Amazing.
I started playing around with the other curves within RawAccel. Jump was what my aimbot friends were using. Essentially, you have a tracking sense and then a target switching sense with nothing in between. For them, it clearly works, but for me, I just couldn't get this to a point where it felt more natural than linear. especially, you know, predicting flicks and pulse bombs on Tracer. Linear just felt more predictable. Then there's the natural curve, which actually amplifies the worst part about using mouse acceleration for me, which is that rapidly changing sensitivity when you're not intentionally trying to accelerate the mouse, being that first portion.
Yeah, it's probably messing with the initial friction of your, when you move your mouse. It's hard to get that part like consistent. I mean, if you're on like a glass pad with like a really light mouse, then it would stand to reason that it's like your initial friction would have been like way lower. I don't know, maybe having a couple off days. I don't know.
Small jitters, for example, just become really noticeable. Then there's the power curve, which is basically the same as this, but even worse. For some games, this might work well, but for Overwatch and Apex, it's just too crazy. And then finally, there's the motivity curve, which actually looks very similar to the linear curve that I had dialed in, but it smooths out that early portion of mouse movement. So that feeling of my sense constantly changing early on was now gone. If you're interested in giving mouse accel a shot, I might just recommend loading up this first. It's intentionally flat when you'd want more control, and then ramped up when you'd be flicking to a new target. If you want a larger or smaller sensitivity range, you can change the motivity value, and if you want to flatten out the base sense a bit more, you can change the growth rate and midpoint. And then if you want to make it faster or slower, you just change your in-game sense. So yeah, this curve is what I'm using now. It's pretty much completely default, except I changed that middle value to 1.3. So now, with an in-game sense of 3 at 1600 DPI, this curve would change from 2.3 at the start, all the way up to 3.7.
Bro, this is like some hard-ass numbers bullshit. Ugh. Oh my god. I mean, maybe it's worth like trying to get into, but like me personally, I still think I could like just get better, just aim training or just playing the game just more or whatever. I mean, I know my weaknesses though, since I started like aim training and shit. But I don't know. It's RawAccel, like I think honestly, it's just a really hard sell to me. But I don't know. I get if some people can utilize it and they can make the best out of it and to some sort of success, then I mean, great, more power to them.
And so far, this is the most intuitive and comfortable that I've managed to get mouse accel to feel. So mouse accel might actually not be terrible. I mean, for me at least, it does feel more comfortable than just using a flat static sense. I mean, especially if you play the types of games that I play where there is an extreme amount of variance in the target range, like the amount of precision that you might need or the amount of speed that you might need, you know, in a matter of seconds, then yeah, I mean, actually, it's pretty usable. I mean, one way to explain it is it kind of just feels like less work. You don't have to consciously think about making your aim really steady for those further away targets where you need more precision, and you don't have to use your whole arm for flicks. You just move your mouse a little bit faster than usual. So yeah, it kind of just feels more efficient, almost like an aim assist of some sort. But yeah, it's not gonna be for everyone. Like some people are gonna turn this on and it's just gonna make their aim incredibly worse. I also don't think it's gonna be that useful for, you know, games where the range and speed is very predictable. Games like Counter-Strike and Valorant, it's probably just worth sticking to a static sense there. I'd also recommend watching a video from Viscose, who has much better aim than myself. They used mouse accel for a very long time before deciding it wasn't for them. Very good.
Oh yeah, I've seen this video. Viscose is fucking goated, dude. 100%.
Video, which I'll link down below. They pretty much say that mouse accel was limiting their highest aim potential. But yeah, there it is. I mean, it's not like some crazy aim hack or anything like that. I definitely don't want it to come across like that, but it is something that I honestly see myself using for the foreseeable future. But yeah, that's my experience after using it for 30 days.
Not bad. I mean, yeah, man, it's just, I mean, I don't know, maybe, I mean, for the most part, what do most M&K players play as FPSs? They play Counter-Strike and Valorant for the most part, and then, like, there's, like, a huge drop-off with, like, every other FPS. Like, Fortnite is crossplay. You got a little bit of M&K, a little bit of Roller. Apex is a little bit of M&K, a little bit of Roller. There's a lot of variability in that game as well. There's Overwatch. What else? There's what's that? Rainbow Six Siege, and that has what do you call it? That has crossplay in it as well. Uh, I don't know. It's just like a trying to like if you're gonna tell a beginner like, hey, you should start aim training like maybe like 30 minutes or whatever, maybe like an hour before or after their favorite game to try to increase their like raw mouse control with the game. Yeah, that's great. And then once they reach like a certain level in terms of like mouse control, then you want to like throw in another, what do you call it? I would call it a monkey wrench in a machine because, you know, I don't know. It's just I tried it and I just did not like it. I tried it for like a couple months and I was just like, it was so hard to be consistent. And it's even harder to be consistent when you lack like consistent smoothness at certain ranges. And also, like if you fall to what do you call it? If you fall under the whole like you choke under pressure, like with your aim technique, like when you're doing like a 1v1 or some shit, and you just all of a sudden you get shaky, then it's like, well, everything else is out the door. Like in order to like really utilize RawAccel, you have to be like some level of like pretty freaking good in the first place. And at that point, if you're that good, then like why mess with like something that you're already successful at? I mean, I don't know, but I mean overall it's like I thought it was a good video. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't suggest for MNK, but a lot of MNK players to like try it out. Like you could try it, but like I can only suggest for like good players to try it. All right, and that's like already like less than 1%. So like for me to try to suggest that like a medium level player or like a beginner level MNK player to use it, it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't really suggest it, but I mean, hey, you know, it's always good to have like another opinion and whatnot about stuff like this. I think it's great. Keep them coming. And I'm excited for the next one. But other than that, I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right. Later.